Amrut Distillery. This is a video I've been meaning to make for a very long time because Amrut, well, I should say distilleries. There's actually a couple of different facilities they have. Is very, very, very cool because, well, for a bunch of reasons, but one of them is they make both rums and also whiskeys of various different kinds. So I thought it would be fun to do a side-by-side flight from of rums versus whiskeys, but all from the same producer. So we have got two rums, one unaged cane juice, and one aged Jaggery based rum, and then two single malts, but all from Amrut in Bangalore, which is kind of like central southern India. Man, I've been wanting to do this video for a long time, and it just kept not happening. I'm sure like the whiskey tube channels, they will sometimes complain about having a backlog. Oh, like the videos will turn off and they'll be like, gosh, geez, I got so many videos in the backlog. I don't know why they have like a North Dakota accent. Geez, how am I gonna do all these? Oh well, let's do these, and it's turning Scottish somehow. It's vanilla and brown sugar again, don't you know? Sorry. Do you have any idea how big the backlog gets when you're trying to review every dry, sometimes not even dry, but like spirits category out there? I got a backlog, y'all. All right, so let's review these. Starting out with the Amrut India Pure Sugarcane Juice Rum. This is a Habitation Velier bottling. 62.8%, which is also the strength of this one. All pot distilled and all cane juice distilled in 2022. I will put further information down below. Let's see what we got here. On the nose, well, it smells like a cane juice rum. I am getting definitely some fennel. Some green olives. There's some fruitiness, but it's kind of hard to nail down. It's key lime, maybe? Come on. This is a little bit tricky for me because there's a lot of aromatics happening, but it's actually harder than one would expect to pick out individual notes on this. Certainly some minerality, some kind of just a rock dust kind of thing. Lemon peel. What is that? That reminds me of something. Not peach. It's some kind of red fruit. It's it's like a southern thing. What is the name of that? Actually, no. It's just pomegranate. I'm smelling pomegranate on this. So it's pomegranate that's kind of been mingled with key lime, a little bit of lemon peel, and a lot of rock dust. And that's most of what this smells like. Some olive, some fennel in there as well. And now I'm really just smelling pomegranate. Now that I got it, it's not going away. It smells a little bit hot. I don't know how, what strength this is coming off the still at, but there's a little bit of ethanol creeping in. And it smells nice. There's a suggestion of flowers, but it isn't really flowers. It's almost more like, there's a little bit of, you're smelling a little bit of Febreze in the next room. And kind of it. It's not a super complex nose, but it's definitely like you smell this and you go like, oh, that's cane juice rum on the palate. Uh, limes, key limes, but also like limestone. Interesting. And almost like, what is that? Almost like a pine sap kind of thing. Yeah, that's absolutely what that is. There is a pine sap note in this. And that's most of what's going on here. There's, yeah, lime, limestone, pine sap. There's some other fruits coming through, but it's not like the fruits. It's more like, it's really like pear eau de vie and cherry eau de vie. So a little bit of Kirschwasser in there. Let me give this one more shot. Maybe a couple of like, again, it's a little bit of that Febreze thing. I was going to say flowers, but it's not really flowers. It's like, yeah, like subtle Febreze notes. And we'll leave it there. All right, give this a squirt of water. We'll come back to it. It's 4 squirts. 5 squirts. Yeah, not super duper complex, but I'm enjoying it. Maybe coming off like, you can tell like this is, even if it's pot distilled, it's definitely not wild fermented or anything. I would guess they're not reaching out to do, some crazy cane varietal or anything. It's a very narrow set of flavor notes, and they're pretty darn safe. They lean towards the fruity, citrusy, minerally side of things. I don't feel like I'm drinking a pizza right now, which is which is what I would be expecting if things were creeping in the other direction. All right, on to this. Habitation Velier 2015, 7-year-old. This is a Jaggery rum. I'll put more information down below. This is an incredibly limited release. I don't know why exactly. Maybe it was just like a short barrel or something, but it was a single barrel, and it was only like 100 and couple bottles. So yeah, the pricing on this has gone absolutely stupid on the secondary market. But yeah, it's a Jaggery rum. Jaggery is like this. Not, I don't know how to put it. It's a little bit similar to what they make. I was going to say what they make in Japan, but no, it's just kind of like a condensed, dried cane juice salad. It's really delicious and really cool. And this is the first time I'm having a Jaggery rum. So let's give this a shot on the nose. Okay. So definitely bringing a lot of candy notes and a lot of kind of smokiness, but not peat. This is more like, I was going to say campfire, but no, not really. This is it's like a clean smoke. It's like oh, what is that? This is going to sound crazy, but I don't know if anyone has made like a caramel toffee flavored incense, but that's kind of what this smells like. It's a little bit burned, but you're getting kind of like caramel toffee flavors. Uh, Again, like kind of like the previous glass, not super duper complex, but definitely brings some richness to this. Caramel, toffee, that subtle, very clean, smoky thing. Hints of tobacco, like Virginia flake tobacco. Vanilla, yes, definitely. Creme brulee, a lot of just bourbon cask kinds of notes. Um, Caramel apple, maybe a touch of licorice somewhere in there. But overall, it's big and friendly and candied and a little bit fruity. And the more I swirl this, the more it just kind of smells like a bourbon. Okay, some cherry coming through. We're really converging on, like, I don't even know, Heaven Hill. Not Heaven Hill, like really Buffalo Trace, I guess. And that's not bad, but I don't know. I don't. It's a wonderful flavor profile, but man, I for the way the auctions have been going crazy for this, I was expecting a hair a bit more. Okay, let's try it on the palate. Here we go. Yeah, like 80 to 90% of this is delicious barrel proof bourbon. And I'm not mad, but that's kind of most of what I'm getting. Hold on, one more time. Yeah, so certainly that subtle smoky toffee note I associate with Demerara rum. But more powerful than that is, yeah, like root beer, cherry, um, smoky American oak, vanilla, you know, um, sawdust, wood chips. Dessert cherry. Did I mention that? Dessert cherry. Um, I almost wonder if they threw this in like a virgin cask or something, or just. I mean, it's a short barrel, right? It was only 100 and some odd bottles, but so maybe it just got really concentrated. But yeah, there's a lot of American oak going on in here. Little fennel creeping through. Um, I'm looking for other characteristics to identify this as rum. Actually, a little bit of minerality on the palate. I wasn't really getting on the nose, but there's a sense of just a little hint of like, I don't know, wet stone, as we wine people say. Just a little bit. One more time. I'm gonna add some water to this. It's it's lovely, but it yeah, it doesn't feel super special. And given that this is a crazy Jaggery rum from a single malt producer in Bangalore, I was expecting it to come across as a little bit special. 3, 4. By the way, this is also 62.8, same as the cane juice. It'll take 5, right? 5. Both good, but I don't think they're getting out of good. All right, moving on. to the malts. This is an Amrut single malt. It is a K&L pick from California, and this was an Oloroso cask. I believe it was 6 years old when it was bottled. I'll put the information down below. I've always been a fan of Amrut's whiskey stuff, particularly the fusion. Just like I think it's a really great little whiskey. But I don't think I've tried a heavily sherried version before, and definitely not a port version. God, look at the color on the port version. Look at that. That is terrifying. So I am looking forward to these day of firsts here at Different Spirits. All right, here we go. This is bottled at 60%. I think this was a single barrel. Ooh. On the nose, we are definitely like in Sherry Town. Oh yeah, and it's like the slightly dirty side of Sherry Town too. Beef bouillon. That's the first note I would throw at you. Mingled with Swisher Sweet smoke. Yep. Some strawberry. Really like almost more strawberry jam. And it's maybe like slightly grungy strawberry jam. You like just took some topsoil and threw it in your jam. I don't know why you do that, but go with me here. Oh yeah. Black pepper, like just old leather, like it's just old boots or something. Yeah, and this is why people love sherry cask. It's this mingling of really like lovely fruity notes with these intense like grungy, earthy, savory notes. And it's hard not to like this. And there is a fair bit of maltiness creeping through. Malted milk balls, pear, quince, a little bit of applesauce. Is it sort of super duper adventurous and blowing my mind with flavors I haven't really had before? Not so much. But it's a really good representation of a sherried malt whiskey. Let's bring some cherry in now. Actually, what's interesting is it's mostly been like fresh fruit, and usually I expect dried fruit on sherry cask. No, there's some prune in there, a little bit of prune. It really smells like just like fresh, ripe strawberries or maybe strawberry jam, plus the earthy, grungy characteristics and the malty stuff. On the palate, yeah, there's a little bit of like a Glenfarclas vibe here. It's underneath this somewhere is a super duper like fruity, malty malt, and it's just been smothered in sherry, and it totally works. Like, yeah. What are we getting here? Snickers bars is what we're getting. Imagine taking a Snickers bar, smothering it in strawberry jam, maybe a couple of prunes, and then just dropping it in like wet topsoil and kicking it around a few times. And that is absolutely what this tastes like. Ooh. And maybe take like a bite of steak while you're going at it. Like, I like it. Just like steak that was like grilled a little bit too long. You just took a piece of like char off the side and you popped it in your mouth. A little bit of that, some leather. black pepper, Swisher Sweets again. Oh, and here's the dried fruit. Chocolate orange in the house. Figs, dates, raisin. This is righteous. I'm kind of into this. Add some more to this glass. I'm absolutely on board with this. So, newsflash, Amrut can totally do a really good sherry bomb. Yeah, let's add some water. We'll come back to it. It's 60, right? It'll take 5. So this is my best so far of this flight. And now I have to get scared. Because what we have got here, and I have to sort of I have to pull up the page on this. What we have got here is an 8-year-old port pipe bottling. It's not a port finish. No. This is entirely port matured. And this is a pick by the, what is it? The SoCal Whiskey Club. Jesus Christ, look at this color. I will put further information down below, but that's basically all you need to know. Amrut, 8 years in a port cask. Now, am I worried about this? A little bit. But I'm not as worried as you might think. Before I dig into this, let me talk about this. I tend not to like port finishes, a lot of finishes, to be honest with you. But it isn't because it's port. It's because, or it's not just because it's port. It's because it's a finish. And when you throw something into a fresh cask with lots of, influence from whatever was previously holding, like, it is time to suck up what it was previously holding, sugary red wine in this case, but it doesn't really have time to balance itself out or take on interesting tertiary notes or anything like that. So as much as I am weary of port cask finishes, secondary maturations that last longer than 3, 4, 5 years, or full maturation in port, I'm willing to give that a shot. And so if your brain is immediately like, well, hang on, won't it take on more port influence by that point? No, because how much solubility do you think port really needs? You're gonna suck up all the port in the first couple of months of that being in cask, easily. So a lot of the rest of that time is just additional influence from whatever the underlying wood was, and also just whatever the previous thing was, and your whiskey or the spirit you're aging marrying a little bit and maybe taking on some air and gaining some complexity. I'll stop babbling. So basically, I am a fan of full-term maturation, secondary maturation. Finishes make me worried because they're lazy. They're lazy a lot of the time. Let's see what we got. Hold on. Let me get my bearings. So it's there's a lot going. It's very dense. There's a lot going on. I sound like Rick McCallan all of a sudden. Sorry. But it kind of works. So what are we getting? Go to high hop, get get the biggest lineup of syrups you can. Pick out all the red fruits, cherry, strawberry, red currant if they have it, all the red fruits, and just pool them together in one big vat. And then add a hell of a lot of black pepper in there. And that's a lot of what this is. It's very, very red fruit forward. Oh, and there's a lot of like this topsoily grunginess, maybe some like, it's leafy, but what kind of leafy is that? It's like muddled herbs or something. There's a leafiness to this, but it's not dried leaves, and it's not really fresh leaves either. It's more like, yeah, like muddled herbs. Some like aromatic tree bark notes. Licorice. Oh yeah. Wow. Chocolate orange here as well, actually. And behind all that is, a malty malt. It's malted milk balls, quince, pear, a little bit of apple. I actually kind of like this nose. It's not going to be a subtle whiskey. I can tell that just from smelling it, but yeah, it actually comes across on the nose as pretty well balanced. There's also some Christmas spices here, some cinnamon, clove. I was looking for cardamom, but not really any cardamom either. Oh, and a little bit of like, I don't know, black tea, like Ceylon tea or something on the palate. Damn it. I hate that I like this, but I like this. I like this a lot, actually. I think this is probably better than the Oloroso one. Hold on. It's as ridiculous and stupid and magical as like owning your own brontosaurus. But yeah, this is good. It's okay. So again, if this was a port finish on top of like a second use bourbon cask or something, this would not work. But the fact that it's an entire maturation period of 8 years in port, that works. What are we getting here? It's very earthy. Like fresh topsoil, but also a little bit of like old, grungy, dry dirt in here. That kind of leafy, muddled herb thing is definitely here. It's much more earthy and kind of dark on the palate than it is on the nose. Is the like red fruit IHOP syrup blend thing happening on the palate? Yeah, but much less so. There's a lot of pepper, a lot of stewed black tea, a lot of licorice and fennel, which I'm happy about. Chocolate, really dark chocolate, like 90% lints is not good enough. Like this is pure like 95% Ugandan uncut stuff. This is the good stuff. But it's got that licoricey side to that too. Hints of orange peel, not too much, but it's there. I'm digging this, man. Yeah, port is fine with me. Really serious tannins in the back end. Very, very dry. Like you can tell it's going to be dry in the front end, but there's still some fruit there, and then the fruit just kind of like peels away as it travels through your mouth. Actually, a very impressive performance on this. And there's still that kind of like malted milk ball, quince jelly thing. It's just kind of like hiding in the background, giving this a little bit more color. It's definitely cask driven. It's very, very modern in how it's doing what it's doing, but it's doing it right, and it's doing it successfully. Oh, and cinnamon and clove. A little bit of allspice on this as well. Really nice. Really nice. 3, 4, 5. I think I'm going to stop there. Yeah, so if you told me about an hour ago that the port cask would be winning going into the second round of this, I would not have believed you. But yeah, here we are. Second round. All right, back to the cane juice rum. None of these are bad, by the way. None of these suck. All right, the cane juice rum. Not a ton of development on this. It still really like smells like lime and limestone. And less pomegranate on the nose than there was on the palate, but there's a little bit of pomegranate on the nose too. Not a ton of development. It's certainly not the most complex unaged cane juice rum in the world, but it smells nice. It's fruity. It's refreshing. I would totally make a tea punch out of this. Yeah, it smells nice. On the palate. I'm gonna do that one more time because that the port cask has just ruined my ability to taste things. We're gonna try that one more time. Very simple, but pretty well executed. It's just a nice layup. You know, you get your 2 points, and that's it. It's nothing special. It's not going to make the highlight reel or anything, but it gets the job done. Water brings out a little bit of the fennel character of this, and that should be there. Like, this is a rum, right? A rum without fennel is like, it's like Christmas without family. Very simple profile, not really changes from before. It's citrus and minerality, that pomegranate thing. Nice peppery note. That's really about it. Score-wise, I don't know. I'm sort of torn between an 83 and an 84, so I'm just going to call this an 83 plus. 83 plus. Leave it there. Certainly not my favorite Amrut product ever, but the fact that they can make this, but also this, that alone is enough to impress me. It's an interesting range of products they make over there. All right, moving on to the Jaggery rum, 2015. Yeah, it still smells mostly like a bourbon, which is not a bad thing. It smells like a really good bourbon. Yeah, cherry, vanilla, sawdust. There's no graininess on this, which is the only thing that might give it away. Water really like pushes this even more towards bourbon, if anything. Makes it a little bit more peppery too. There's some black pepper creeping in. Cola notes, root beer. You ever go to the soda machine at a pop in a like a fast food joint and like get half Coke or Pepsi and like half root beer? That's kind of what this smells like. Yeah, you hand this to someone blind, unless they are really, really, really good, like better than me, they are probably thinking bourbon on their first contact. All right, on the palate. Ooh. So the smoky character of this had kind of disappeared on the nose, but it's still there on the palate. And if anything, it's kind of like infused the rest of the flavor notes. That's actually really cool. Hold on. Yeah, I mean it still comes across like a long lost Buffalo Trace product, but it's almost like imagine that and you like just shot a little bit of campfire smoke through it. And that's kind of what this is. Lots of cherry, lots of vanilla, creme brulee. There is actually some graininess on this, believe it or not, even though there's no grains. Um, Virginia tobacco again. It's not blowing my mind or anything, but it's nice, and I'm glad to have tried this Jaggery rum from Amrut. What I'm gonna give it? Am I gonna give this? One more time. It's not gonna be lower than an 84, but I can't get to 86. And see the finish, the length, the mouthfeel, they're all fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But like they aren't really stepping up in the way that I would expect from something in the deep into the mid 80s to get there. So I'm gonna call this an 84. 84 points for the Habitation Velier 2015 Jaggery rum from Amrut. And if you sell this stuff on auctions and I just tanked your pricing, I'm really sorry. All right, moving on. We are back at the Oloroso. Is it right? Did I just score these two almost the same? Hold on, let me try these again. These two rums are seriously different in character. But yeah, the quality is about the same, which is, I mean, I am just coming through this range a second time for the second round. I'm really starting to appreciate, like, one producer made all this. How cool is that? All right. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm running out of water here. All right, back to the ex-Oloroso on the nose. A little more Swisher sweet now, but otherwise not a whole lot of change. Yeah, as before, it really smells like, you can smell an intense, powerful sherry cask, but you can also smell like a pretty fruity malt underneath all that. And it works. It works with Glenfarclas, and it works here. In fact, I kind of like this more than the 105. Which probably doesn't surprise those of you out there who hate the 105. But y'all are wrong. I like the 105. I still think this is better. On the palate, maybe not. Hold on. Tricky. Okay, so what's happening is the water has really brought out the sweet, juicy quality of this. I mean, it really just tastes like, it wasn't like, this was really earthy on the palate before, right? Right? It brings out the kind of jamminess on this, a little bit of the pepperiness, but it also just chops the mouth length on this. I wasn't really having a problem with the mouth length before, but now it feels like everything is happening up front. Mouthfeel is still good. Finish is still good. But yeah, now it's really like just stopping at my molars, and that's it in terms of where this is, performing in my mouth. Ooh. Hard to grade. It's very delicious. It's very juicy. There's some leafiness creeping in, that like slight sherry leafiness that is so much fun. Score-wise, it's still good. It's still good. I just wouldn't add water to it. I'm gonna give this 87 minus. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I don't know what further to do with it. It's I guess water has brought out the youth of this. It's just showing, like, 6 years can only do so much, Did I just suddenly take on the Minnesota accent I was making fun of previously in this video? Can only do so much, If you live in Minnesota, I'm very sorry. I kind of love Minneapolis and St. Paul. It's a great city. The coffee is phenomenal. Okay, moving on. We are back to the port cask, which I did not think would be the leader going into this, but here we are on the nose. Oh, God. And now it just smells like Christmas. Cinnamon sticks and clove and like allspice all day long, and it's all like sprinkled on top of a delicious foundation of mud and like congealed IHOP syrup. and I love it. Black pepper as well. And those malty notes as well. The kind of quince jelly, Perry apple thing. I thought I would hate this. I wouldn't go so far as to say I wanted to hate this, but I thought I would hate this, and I'm just not. I'm actually really delighted with this bottle. Right on the palate. And it's the form that's really making this work. Yeah, I mean it's really the fact that it's covering my entire mouth, getting a little bit into my throat, tickling my throat a little bit, get your mind out of the gutter, and it's kind of hanging on after I swallow. And not just like the dry notes, not just the ash and the pepperiness and like the tannins. It's also a little bit of the fruit and the herbaceousness, the licorice. That stuff is hanging on for a little while. And that's kind of what's putting this above the Oloroso cask for me. It's got good form and it's balanced. Not a whole lot of change in the flavor notes. It's still very, very earthy. The licorice note is beautiful and fantastic. The red fruits are there. Cinnamon, clove, allspice. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is the best thing here. This is the best thing here. And I hate it, but there it is. What am I going to score this? There's not a whole lot of development with the addition of water. Maybe the finish is a hair bit more dry. It gets a hair bit more kind of tannic and peppery. But it was delicious before, and it's still delicious. Score-wise, I can't do 90. I don't know if I can do 89, but I can do 88. 88 points for the Amrut port from SoCal Whiskey Club. Yeah, and that's your lineup. So it's actually just kind of gone down the line, hasn't it, in increasing order. 83 plus for the cane juice rum. 84 points for the Jaggery rum from 2015. The Oloroso cask from KNL gets an 87 minus. I don't think this benefits from water. It just kind of condenses it in a bad way. Not too bad, but in a bad way. And an 88 points for the port cask, which I did not expect to be winning this, but here we are. Yeah, and that's the show. I mean, I guess the main impression I take away from this is, no, there's a couple of lessons. First lesson, full maturation in a port cask. So not finishing nonsense, just full maturation can be fantastic. And here is your proof. So stop messing around. Give your whiskey some time, or your your spirit in general some time to figure itself out. Second lesson. Wow, like Amrut is capable of producing a huge, huge range of stuff. Third lesson, and this is the annoying thing, the best of that stuff might still be rum. Or, opposite. The best of that stuff might still be single malt whiskey. And that's a little bit annoying. But here we are. Thanks for watching this very awkward episode of Different Spirits. And cheers.